Schopenhauer's philosophy, insights on suffering and life. Arthur Schopenhauer was a German philosopher whose ideas are well known for their pessimism and philosophy of will. His quotes provide deep insight into the suffering of human existence and the nature of life. Below are some of his major quotes and their explanations. Schopenhauer's quotes. Man is born to avoid suffering. This quote well represents Schopenhauer's pessimism. He argued that the essence of human existence lies in suffering, and that the purpose of life is to avoid suffering. We are slaves to our will. Schopenhauer believed that human behavior is governed by will. Will represents human instinctual desires and impulses, which often result in suffering. Happiness is nothing but the absence of suffering. 8. This quote defines happiness as the absence of suffering. He argued that happiness should not be understood as a permanent state, but as a moment without suffering. Art is a way to transcend suffering. Schopenhauer believed that art was a way for humans to forget and temporarily transcend their suffering. He believed that art transcends the will and plays a role in relieving human suffering. Love is the source of suffering. 7. He argued that love is the cause of increasing human suffering. He believed that love is often accompanied by possessiveness and jealousy, which cause suffering. Schopenhauer's philosophical thoughts. Schopenhauer believed that the essence of human existence lies in suffering. He argued that life is inherently suffering and that humans strive to avoid it. Philosophy of will. In his philosophy, will is the central concept. Will represents the instinctive desires and impulses of humans which govern human behavior. He believed that will causes human suffering. Art and salvation. Schopenhauer believed that art is a way for humans to transcend suffering. He argued that art transcends the will and plays a role in relieving human suffering. Love and suffering. He believed that love is the source of suffering. He believed that love is accompanied by possessiveness and jealousy, which cause suffering to humans. Schopenhauer's quotes and philosophy provide deep insight into the suffering of human existence and the nature of life. His ideas have had a great influence on modern philosophy and psychology and still resonate deeply with many people. Through his philosophy, we can understand suffering and find ways to overcome it. Famous quotes inspire many people, and their background stories help us understand the meaning of the quotes more deeply. Here are some famous quotes and their background stories. Famous quotes and background stories. I think, therefore I am. Descartes. Background. This quote is a famous quote by philosopher René Descartes, and it represents the foundation of his philosophical thinking. He tried to find the truth through doubt, and left this quote to confirm his own existence. It is considered an important phrase that signals the beginning of ontological thinking. 1. Life is made up of 10% events and 90% reactions. Charles R. Swindoll. Background. This quote conveys the message that our reactions to events in life are more important than the events that occur in them. Swindoll made this quote to emphasize the difficulties he experienced in his life and his positive attitude toward them. 1. Success is not a destination, it is a journey. Arthur Ashe. Background. This quote reflects the lessons that tennis player Arthur Ashe learned throughout his career and life. He emphasized that success is not simply an outcome, but rather the experiences and lessons learned along the way. 1. Even the darkest night has an end and the sun will rise again. Victor Hugo. Background. This quote was written by the French author Victor Hugo to help people not lose hope during difficult times. He wanted to convey the message that we should not lose hope even in the midst of hardships and adversities in life. 1. Quotes like this are more than just simple phrases, but they have inspired many people through the deep meaning and lessons behind them. By understanding the background of each quote, we can accept its message more deeply. Living wisely in the modern world. Lessons from Arthur Schopenhauer. Life in today's world is complex and relentless. We're surrounded by constant noise, digital distractions, relentless societal pressure, and a craving for more that feels impossible to satisfy. In the midst of this, we often find ourselves asking, how can we live wisely? How can we maintain clarity, contentment, and inner peace? To answer these questions, we turn to Arthur Schopenhauer, a philosopher who, despite living over 200 years ago, offers timeless wisdom for the struggles we face today. This video invites you to reflect on Schopenhauer's character and achievements, and most importantly, the life lessons he provides for those seeking self-improvement and inner calm. Arthur Schopenhauer was not your typical philosopher. Born in 1788 in Danzig, modern-day Gdańsk, Poland, he grew up in a family full of ambition and tension. His father, a successful merchant, hoped Arthur would follow in his footsteps, but Arthur's intellectual curiosity led him down a different path. After his father's tragic and mysterious death, Schopenhauer pursued philosophy with an unparalleled intensity. He was a solitary and deeply introspective man. His outlook on life earned him a reputation for being both a pessimist and a genius. Schopenhauer believed life was inherently filled with suffering, but his fascination with the human condition gave his work a profound and unexpected depth. What was Schopenhauer like as a person? Contrary to a polished academic image, he lived a life often marked by personal struggles, loneliness, rejection, and bouts of temperamental frustration. Yet, out of these difficulties emerged ideas of great wisdom. Schopenhauer was not interested in fame or societal approval. Instead, he devoted his life to understanding what lies beneath the surface of human existence. To appreciate Schopenhauer's contributions, we must begin with his magnum opus, The World as Will and Representation. In this work, he introduced the concept of the will, a force he believed drives all human actions and desires. For Schopenhauer, this will is a restless, insatiable energy. It governs our cravings, ambitions, and even our struggles. Here's the catch. This constant pursuit of desires fueled by the will rarely results in genuine satisfaction. Think about it. How often do we achieve something we crave, only to find ourselves yearning for the next thing? Schopenhauer believed this cycle of desire and disappointment is central to the human condition. Life, in his view, is a pendulum swinging between want and boredom, leaving us unsatisfied either way. Rather than running from this uncomfortable truth, Schopenhauer dared us to face it head-on. He framed life not as an endless quest for happiness, but as a challenge to understand our inner workings, master them, and strive for something deeper. What makes Schopenhauer's philosophy so refreshing is his honesty about life's challenges. While some philosophies promise perfection or utopia, Schopenhauer argued that suffering is an intrinsic part of existence. But before you despair, consider this. Acknowledging suffering is not about dwelling on negativity. It's about seeing life clearly, without illusion. This realism provides us with an opportunity. Rather than obsessively chasing fleeting happiness or accumulating material wealth, Schopenhauer asks us to focus on understanding who we are and what truly matters. He believed human beings could find relief not by seeking to eliminate suffering, but by learning how to cope with it wisely. Think about your own life. How often do we avoid pain or discomfort, rushing to distract ourselves with external pleasures? Schopenhauer's philosophy gently invites us to turn inward, to confront the struggle, and in doing so, transcend it. While Schopenhauer painted life with a brush of realism, he also offered beautiful remedies. One of these is art. For Schopenhauer, art serves a higher purpose beyond entertainment. It provides an escape from the restless will that drives us. When we engage with art, whether through music, literature, painting, or sculpture, we become absorbed in something greater. We step outside of ourselves, even if just for a moment, and transcend our internal conflicts. Think of a powerful piece of music that transported you to a whole different emotional state. That, in essence, is what Schopenhauer believed art could do. It quiets the endless chatter of our minds and gives us a glimpse of peace. Another key practice Schopenhauer promoted was compassion. Despite his reputation as a pessimist, he believed deeply in the value of kindness and human connection. Compassion for Schopenhauer is the antidote to selfishness. It allows us to recognize the shared struggles of existence and, perhaps, find moments of grace in alleviating others' suffering. Now let's bring Schopenhauer's insights into the present day. Our modern lives, dominated by constant distractions and endless competition, can feel uniquely overwhelming. But the truth is, the challenges we face today are echoes of the same struggles Schopenhauer wrote about centuries ago. Craving, dissatisfaction, and the pursuit of meaning are timeless human experiences. How can we apply his wisdom to the digital age? First, we must acknowledge the role of distractions. From social media to binge-watching shows, we often lose ourselves in mindless activities that perpetuate dissatisfaction. Schopenhauer urges us to counter this with mindfulness and simplicity. Instead of filling every moment with noise, he encourages us to embrace stillness. Second, we can use his insights to resist the constant pull of consumerism. Schopenhauer teaches us that material pleasures are fleeting. The endless pursuit of more only fuels our restlessness. By seeking contentment and simplicity, we can break free from the cycle of wanting. Third, Schopenhauer's emphasis on self-awareness can help us navigate modern society's pressures. When we constantly compare ourselves to others, whether in career, relationships, or appearances, we become trapped in envy and dissatisfaction. Schopenhauer reminds us to look inward and to cultivate our own unique path. In today's hyper-connected world, solitude often feels like a problem to be solved, rather than an opportunity to grow. For Schopenhauer, solitude was a gift, a chance to disconnect from the chaos of external life and focus inward. He believed that solitude allowed us to reflect, to understand our inner selves, and to discover genuine peace. Imagine spending time alone not as a punishment, but as an act of self-care. Think about the benefits of pausing the noise around you to sit in stillness, listen to your thoughts, and reconnect with your core values. Schopenhauer's philosophy invites us to reframe solitude as a powerful tool for growth rather than something to fear. This doesn't mean cutting yourself off completely from others. Instead, it's about finding balance. Set aside moments each day to engage in quiet reflection, whether through journaling, meditation, or simply taking a walk without your phone. The more comfortable you become with your own company, the more grounded you'll feel in your daily life. Life, as Schopenhauer emphasized, includes hardships, some small, others monumental. But his philosophy doesn't leave us powerless in the face of challenges. Instead, he helps us see adversity as an inevitable part of life, something we can grow through rather than resist. When facing struggles, Schopenhauer invites us to shift our perspective. What lessons can we learn from our pain? What meaning can we derive from life's more trying moments? He believed that these obstacles, while painful, offer opportunities for personal insight and resilience. It's not about pretending that life is perfect, but about facing difficulties with courage and humility. At the heart of Schopenhauer's teachings is a call for authenticity. In a world that often demands we mask our true selves, follow societal expectations, or chase recognition, Schopenhauer reminds us to live in alignment with our inward truths. Authenticity is not about perfection, it's about self-awareness and staying true to your values. Living authentically might mean breaking free from the constant pressure to excel or impress. It's about taking a step back and asking, what truly matters to me? How do I define a meaningful life? By aligning with your inner compass, you can find a path that feels uniquely yours. In closing, Schopenhauer's philosophy is an invitation to live more wisely. His teachings inspire us to embrace life's challenges, seek solace in art and compassion, and nurture peace through solitude and reflection. He reminds us that while the human condition may be imperfect, it also holds extraordinary beauty when viewed with clarity and understanding. In the end, Schopenhauer offers us something rare, an unflinching look at reality paired with tools to navigate it gracefully. If we can take even a fraction of his wisdom and apply it to our daily lives, we might find not only relief from life's restlessness, but also a deeper, more enduring sense of purpose and calm. The question then is not how to avoid life's chaos, but how to rise above it with wisdom, perspective, and authenticity. How will you begin your journey?